All right, this is the first time I've tried using OBS to record my screen. It took me a second to figure out how to actually do it. I didn't even have to Google it. I just figured it out. It's pretty intuitive. It's called display capture, by the way. I didn't realize that. It did take me a second to figure out how to create an XLR microphone that didn't record on the left channel alone. I see two bars now in my audio input capture. So hopefully, I'm assuming is that recording in stereo? Is that recording in mono with just both channels going up mono? I'm not quite sure. I'm sure some sort of audio file could tell me that. I've actually played with my lighting a little bit, warmed it up, gave me more of a little bit of a tan. I need all help I can get. I'm like half Viking. I'm 78% Viking, by the way. I didn't know that until I did an ancestry DNA test. I always grew up thinking I was Irish, but it turns out I'm not. It turns out my grandparents and parents have no idea where their ancestors came from. And I was 78% from the Baltics and northwestern Europe, all Scandinavian Vikings, 78%. So I'll take it. You know, if you're going to not be Irish, I guess, growing up thinking the name Patrick Kelley, I'll take being a Viking. That's kind of badass, or a little bit. That's, by the way, no idea that's not what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about is Zoom team chat. It's my favorite topic, for God's sakes. I've always talked. It doesn't seem like I've always talked about it, but it seems like I talk about it more and more these days. Application affinity is a real thing. The more you stay in one application, the more productive you're going to be. It's really that simple. I think there was a Harvard Business Review study that just recently came out that literally says that, and I'm not going to quote it verbatim, but from what I recall, the study basically said the average knowledge worker, average information worker switches apps 1,200 times a day. I'm like, that's incredible. 1,200 times a day. And then I got to thinking, well, let me put that together. I start out my day with Zoom team chat typically. And then I'll go to direct messages, see if anybody's mentioned me or mentioned all that I need to catch up on. Then I'll go to my individual starred channels, right? And individual foldered channels and just to catch up on all the activity that I missed during the night or that I didn't catch the afternoon or evening before. And then once I get caught up on all those channels and chats, I typically go to my calendar. Honestly, I go to my calendar first on my phone, but we're just talking about my desktop. I'll go to my calendar, see what time it is, see what meetings I have to go to next. And then I'll switch to my mail client, whether it's Gmail or Outlook. I have to switch to a mail client, right? And I check my email. And by the way, I work for Zoom. In case you didn't know, I am a distinguished architect at Zoom. I'm not a figurehead for Zoom by any means. I am not a spokesman for Zoom by any means. I am just a nerd that likes to talk about stuff, and a lot of times that has to deal with Zoom. I'm interested in to see if it's clipping right now. It's red clipping on my audio interface, which typically means I'm talking too loud. We'll see how that works, or maybe the gain's too high up. I don't know. This is all kind of new to me, honestly. Trying to learn all this new XLR and OBS stuff. It's always fun though. It's always a good time. What was I talking about again? Oh, right. Oh yeah. The Harvard Business Review, 1,200 clicks throughout the day. Basically, right. And you go through email, you go through calendar, you go through your chats, you go probably some sort of line of business application like Salesforce or Dynamics to check your CRM and see what your accounts are at and your contacts are at. You're making calls, you're going to meetings, you're clicking share. The whole point is 1,200 mouse clicks a day. Once I started thinking about it, wasn't probably enough, honestly, for me. I'm probably a power user in this space, so I probably do more than the average person. But the whole point of the story, the whole point of the study was 1,200 mouse clicks is super inefficient because you're clicking through all these different applications, losing up to 9% productivity every year per user. 9% of your enterprise users, your workforce, are losing 9% of their productivity because they're clicking between apps. And that's really what I'm talking about is application affinity, the ability to stay in one app and do everything or do as much as possible. I think utopia would be if one app could do everything across every platform, across every vertical, across every department. You would just buy one app and you would support one app and deploy one app and troubleshoot one app and train on one app. That's utopia. We don't exist in utopia. We exist today. And that's not quite what the world is to at that level. We haven't evolved to a one app level. I think Elon Musk wants to get there, right? I think we all want to get there. I think Microsoft wants to get there. I think Google wants to get there. I think Zoom wants to get there, right? One app that can do everything. And just think about your UCaaS needs from that perspective, your chat perspective. That's where you start out. That's where we typically start out our day. We can chat. We do meetings. We do phone. Those are the three modalities probably that most people do every day. But then we can extend that into webinars. Zoom can extend that into webinars. We can extend that into rooms and spaces. We can extend that into digital signage. We can extend that into call center. Zoom can extend it into apps. Zoom can extend that into AI with our Solvay acquisition. All of a sudden, that Zoom platform discussion is a much more important discussion to have with enterprises. Because what if you can stay in one app and do most of your productivity? Zoom now can do SharePoint integration. I've done like 7 videos on this. You can now start collaborating with, let's just say, Office 365 documents. You don't even have to leave Zoom to start Word documents. You don't have to leave Zoom to start Excel or PowerPoint documents. You don't have to leave Zoom to co-author on those documents. You can literally double-click on files inside of Zoom Team Chat that are stored in SharePoint and collaborate, create, consume Office 365 documents. Not, again, keeping that application affinity in check, keeping your users more productive. And then when they want to share a document, they just share it right from Zoom Team Chat. Share any sort of document, right? We extend that into using other not only modalities of Microsoft Office 365, but we can extend documents into OneDrive and SharePoint, Google Drive, Box. It's nice to be an agnostic platform and have these open API SDK philosophies where you can literally make apps that fit right into your ecosystem, or make that Zoom ecosystem fit right into your apps, allowing more productivity and more efficiency. I got off on a big tangent. I was going to talk about Zoom Team Chat, but that just took a whole other soapbox. So I don't know how long this video is. I will shut it down there. It was a bit of a Friday Patrick mantra. So I apologize for the soapbox. It was important for me to apparently say that all of a sudden instead of going into my channel demo. I guess I'll do that on Monday. All right. Have a great afternoon.